Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're giving our first impressions of Catherine, the cities of Tsarina?
The Tsarina.
Tsarina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a Tsar.
Ah, okay.
That's what they call their king in Russia.
Makes sense, I guess. It makes sense.
And she's the queen, so she'd be the Tsarina.
Okay. Thank you. I should have had you say it. I was going to have you say it, but I did not.
It's alright.
But yeah, so this was a game that I think I got, if I remember right, it's probably a miniature market deal.
I know it came with a lot of other games.
It came with several other games, so I think they probably had a sale going on at the time. But yeah, so this one looked like a typical kind of Euro style game that I tend to like, and I saw that it had kind of, if you've ever played Council of Four, where it's got kind of a map with kind of locations that are connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of had a similar look to that,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it had a card play kind of management system. And I tend to like those style of games, and it looked like it was a little bit on the lighter side, lighter to medium weight game. So I was hoping that would be something that you might like a little bit more, possibly. And yeah, so I've been excited to play this one. I thought that it would be a little bit easier to get to the table than maybe some of the other heavier Euro games.
And I had to beg to get it to the table.
You had to beg to get it to the table. I think that was the first time you asked to play it. So.
I know.
So, and we got it played right away.
I think I told you when it came. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but I definitely judge a board game by its cover and content look, because not everything's very interesting to me. But I'm a sucker for A, history, and two, female queens of the the old days. And so I was like, Catherine the Great! I'm like, what's this about? Let's play it. And then it sat on the shelf, and then you were going to make me play a different game, and I was like, no, I'm going to play that one that you got. I'm like, I have no idea what it's about, but
let's play that.
The theme has my attention, so.
And luckily, definitely you could feel the theme in the game.
So thematic.
Definitely couldn't have had any theme pasted on it.
It's not, but
it's got a nice look to it. It still has a look of being kind of a historical themed game.
Look, you're putting villages around Russia.
There you go. But yeah, so I was a little excited. You were, I guess, kind of excited as well, which is sometimes more than normal. You don't usually ask to play the brand new game, so that is something to, I guess, know going into it that you were a little bit more excited about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we played it.
So this is going to be skewed, is that what you're saying?
It could possibly be skewed. You just got to know going into it how excited or unexcited we were.
Yeah.
What our expectations were going in. And then, yeah, so I think we learned this one pretty quickly. We watched a video on it, but a lot of it was pretty simple. I mean, a lot of it made a lot of sense. The rule book is pretty short as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we probably finished the game in like 30 minutes. Yeah, it says 30 to 45 on the box, and that's probably going to be about right.
It's only 12 total turns.
Right, so and it's all simultaneous.
Yeah.
So yeah, they made it work to be kind of simultaneous play, and it feels like it works really well. Really, the only kind of things you're looking at for your opponent are obviously where they are in the scoring track, and there's cannons and book symbols that you're trying to get more than your opponents, and that's really the only interaction. So it can easily be simultaneous, but a lot of it is kind of multiplayer solo game, I would say. We only played at 2-player. 3 and 4, there's some extra pieces that kind of go into it. You can get those wild tokens for not being last for books, but with 2 players, there's not that option. You either win or you lose. So
it's a bummer.
You're not in the middle. So, but yeah, it was pretty snappy, quick. I would say you're kind of just.
It was so quick that Zach was already moving into the next round.
I would always be like, go ahead.
Are we ready for the next round? And you're like, oh, I'm already playing it. I'm like, well, you need 2 cards. And you're like, oh, whoa.
Usually, I felt like I was taking that take card action.
Yeah.
Or I would activate a card that would give me cards. So then I
Oh.
kind of felt like I was already taking the cards
It's
for
like
the
there are too many cards.
next round. But yeah, because pretty much what you're doing is you got a tableau of cards. You got a top layer and a bottom one, and the top one
Or cards that
you can activate.
Yeah.
And the ones that they have symbols on top of them, and they all count towards what you're currently doing. And then you can activate those cards. They have something on the bottom that kind of gives you either points or cards or something else. I don't know what that glory, whatever the crown thing is, reputation. And if you play a card below it, if it's the same color, you'll activate it and you'll take that action, whatever it is.
Yep.
But you won't get anything from the card that you just used to activate it. So.
Right.
Kind of the big thing is managing your hand of, I'm going to need some orange cards to activate these other orange cards I've got out here. But I won't be able to use those orange cards. So if you get a new good orange card that you're like, I want to play this one, but you need to use it as activation.
Then you get an even better one and you're like, oh man.
Right. So.
But yeah, it's kind of a way your options kind of a vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're definitely managing your hand along with your tableau kind of simultaneously as well. But yeah, so pretty much doing this at the same time as every other player. And then you put your cards face down once you've chosen, because each round you'll add one to the top, so the ones that you can activate, and then one to the bottom for activation. You'll do that 4 times each round, and there's 3 rounds, which gives you the 12 turns. So it's a pretty good mechanism. I think it's pretty clean. It works pretty well.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty light.
Yeah.
For what it is, but I really liked it. I thought it was really clean. It's very straightforward. I enjoyed the hand management. I feel like we do a lot of hand management and whatever, but I felt like that the weighing options portion and the tableau that you're trying to make with the icons, to do some scoring and other stuff, I felt like that was really good, kind of mixed to that typical function that we see. I feel like I don't know that I have seen that in other games the way that it did it.
And I'd say it's a way, way lighter version of it. But the only thing I can think of that's kind of comparable is Arboretum, where you're playing out cards, but then you still need cards at the end of the game to actually score those. It's not quite the same, but that's the closest thing I can think of that we've played. And that one is, I would say, a lot thinkier and heavier than this. But, well, I'm just saying this, I don't want people to think if they have played Arboretum that this is just as thinky.
Oh, that makes it sound like this is not heavy at all.
Well, I feel like that one feels much more restrictive. Like your hand feels much more restrictive. Yes. Whereas this one, I think you can feel free to let go of cards and not be as worried about it. Whereas that one, it's like, oh gosh, if I do the wrong thing with this card, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble.
Okay, yeah. From that point of view, you're right.
I shouldn't say it's heavier. It's just, I don't know, more constricting feeling. But this one, feels definitely free. You're trying to connect cities and stuff in a way, trying to get tokens.
I feel like they could have beefed it up if they had wanted to, but they didn't want to. Like, you can just lay in a city. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no, Council of 4 will cost you something if you're not the first person there, So they certainly could have done some things, but they chose not to, and I'm kind of like, it's probably pretty good because it allows you to focus really on the core mechanism.
Right, yeah, I would agree, because, they could have even had it like, if there's someone there, whoever's there prior to gets a point if you go to that or something. They could have probably added that, and that probably would have been fine, but then it's just another thing to remember, so keeping it simple. I think this one could be kind of just that same sort of weight as like Catan and Ticket to Ride and stuff. It might be just, if anything, it's just slightly more than that, but it's right around there. I would think most people could handle it if they can handle that.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's just the level right after that. So if you're looking just around that level, this one I would say is one that you could definitely check out. If you are looking for something crunchier, thinkier, that maybe has kind of that grid kind of feel. Console 4, I think, has a little bit more to it. But otherwise this one's still pretty good. I'd probably give this one my average of about a 7. It's one that if people want to play it, I'm more than happy to play it. And it'll probably be one that gets played like once or twice a year, just based on our collection size. If we didn't have such a big collection, it'd probably get played more. But it is one of those that I feel like if it had been like one of those first games we got, like Karuba or King Domino or any of those games, it could have easily been played just as much as those.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when we got it in our accumulation of board games.
Yeah. I'd probably give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a lot of fun, but I do think you're right. Like, some of the games that we got early on, like Stone Age, maybe haven't held up long term as we've expanded our board game playing and collection and stuff. I feel like this might be on that same track of like, it's really great now and it's really fun to play, but I could see like where you're starting to get pigeonholed into certain strategies that work better than others that you could do in that game. And so I do really like it. I think it's great to have on our shelf, and I'm glad we have it. And if we aren't going to play it a ton, then, you know, it probably will stay good for a while. But if it had been something we had been replaying a lot, I don't know if it's going to hold up. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see with more plays. But yeah, if you want to see everything inside the box, you can check out our unboxing video. I will say it is a pretty empty box. You can actually see
the box
right
is only
here.
this big because of the board.
Yeah, there's just the board in here, and then some cards and some bits and the rule book. So it is quite empty. So you can check out our unboxing video.
Nice bits though.
Yeah, overall it's a pretty good production for the few things that are in there. But yeah, otherwise we hope to see you on our video. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.